What's up everyone, MK Tom Brady here. In this video, we're going to go over my overhaul ideas for one Lord Raiden. We're going to start things off by taking Raiden from a character who is pretty much designed more so to excel in a game in which characters are bound to a preset tournament variation system and make him a character that can really utilize the customizable variation system to its fullest. Because Raiden really isn't one of those characters that can basically, he can't even use customs at all. So how are we going to achieve this? We're going to change his default loadout. So here we have variationless Raiden. This is what I mean by default. This means what the moves your character has without any customizable abilities chosen. And these moves are as follows: Lightning Bolt, Summon Lightning, Lightning Strike, Electric Fly. So you have Lightning Bolt, which is just standard projectile. You have his Summon Lightning. This is an armor break. It can also be used for an anti-air. It can also be used for a combo ender. You have Lightning Strike, which is this attack here, and it can be directed. So you have the full screen version, the mid-range version, and the close-up version. And you have to manually direct this. They don't auto-track. And then you have the classic, the Electric Fly, which can also be canceled without having to equip the ability to cancel it. This comes with the move in general. Now, we're going to move a couple of moves around here. So we're going to take this move here, the Lightning Strike, and we're going to take this move out of his default loadout, and we're going to move it into the customizable, like, select menu. So the menu in which you select your moves, Lightning Strike goes in that menu, and in its place, on a default loadout, we are going to use Storm Cell. So Raiden is going to get his Storm Cell special as a default attack. And this move moves into the customizable table. The Storm Cell command would also change. So right now, Storm Cell conflicts with his Summon Lightning. They both have the exact same command, so obviously you can't have two moves that share the same command. So we're going to change the command on Storm Cell to something that not only will it not conflict with Summon Lightning, it also will not conflict with Lightning Strike. So that'd be up to NetherRealm. I'm not going to get into the commands I would make it. They can see whatever command they think is best, but I would make it a command so it conflicts with nothing. So basically we're doing an even swap. Swap one move into the customizable table, one move into the default loadout. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take another move and swap it out. So let's go to Raiden here. We are going to take the Quick Charge, and let's go ahead and bring it up. Quick Charge, which is this move here, and we're going to move that into the default loadout, and we're going to have it replace this move here. So this string. So this string, not back 1-2, but the ender, will be something that we move into the customized table, which you have to manually select, and in turn, you now have this by default. Now, the reason for this is Raiden has a couple of moves that could normally be pretty good, but because they're bound to having Quick Charge, they become unusable in a custom variation system. You see, in a custom variation system, slotting matters, and needing multiple moves to make another move work right matters. There are other characters that could, in a custom system say, I don't need this, I don't need this, I don't need this, and they can take out what they don't need and equip what they do need. Cetrion's a great example of this. And I was going to cover this later, but I guess I'll cover it now. Where she can say, I don't need my geyser, so I'll take teleport, I'll keep that. But instead of geyser, I'll take that out and I'll take tornado and ground pound, please. Raiden really can't do that because he has a move, this move attack here, it's his staff slam, but this move is terrible. You see, it's -10. It's awful. When you have Quick Charge activated, now it becomes safe. It gains pushback. The same thing with this low staff here. So this right here, you notice there's nothing special to it. All of a sudden, now there's a current that comes with it. And if you amplify it, it will also launch. This move here is completely useless. It does nothing if you don't have Quick Charge equipped. So basically, if you want moves like this to be good, you have to equip another, which now it becomes a 2-slot move, which means now you really can't use it because you're not able to equip something else that you might need because it's taking too many slots to equip one move, so it becomes not worth it, which is why we don't see things like this used in the game as Raiden is currently. So we are, again, to reiterate, this is going to the customizable move list, and this move here is moving into the default move list. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to change a couple of properties of his moves that he has right now. So we're still in default moves. Raiden's back 1-2. This move right here is -8, but it's still full combo punished. And right now Raiden has to play some stupid mini game to make it safe. Like, am I going to do this? You know, and you can't punish me. Just it's really scrubby as well, but it's also dumb that he even has to have something like that to account for this. So since we're making this no longer default, this right here is going to be -7. Still unsafe, still going to be able to, you know, get your turn back regardless. He's not going to be able to do that in backdash or anything like that. And 6-frame down ones will punish him. So it's unsafe because a 6-frame down one will punish. However, a 7-frame jab will no longer lead to a full combo. So it leaves them safe from being full comboed. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take these strings here, which they made this mid overhead. They gave this an overhead, and they figure, oh, I'll just mix this up with forward-3-2 or forward-3 low staff. That's going to be gone. We're going to make this back to being mid-mid, and then we're going to take back 1-4, and we're still going to keep it +1. We're still going to keep the gap, but we're going to make it mid instead of mid overhead to kind of get rid of any scrubby 50-50 situation with the low staff. Because again, quick charge is going to be default, so you're no longer having to spend multiple slots to get that low to be really, really good. So we're going to remove any type of situation in which you have some kind of, you know, scenario where it's overhead or a low launcher. Then we are going to moving on to more property. That's it for his default. Then we're going to move on to some other specials, such as his teleport. So right now, Raiden can special cancel into his teleport. So because this move right here is going to be -7, the last thing I want is, you know, things like back 1-2 into teleport to be a thing. So right now he can do this into teleport, and he can also teleport away. So for one, teleport will be no longer able to be special canceled into. So you will never be able to special cancel into teleport off of anything. You can do teleport by itself, but you cannot special cancel off of any move into a teleport. Teleport away will also now become, instead of 1 bar defensive meter, it will become 2 bars of defensive meter. Teleport will move from a 1-slot move into a 2-slot move. So teleport will, you know, it's one of those things where it's still going to be really good, and it's going to be more easy to equip because it's only going to be 1 slot, but you're not going to be able to, you know, do moves and cancel into it, all that stuff. You can just do it by itself, and that's it. And the penalty, because I'm making it 1 slot, the penalty has got to be much higher for being able to teleport away as opposed to just 1 bar of defensive meter. Then we're going to come to Raiden's Joe push here. So Raiden's Joe push is just a move that's just complete garbage. Wow, just to like think about what they had in store for the move, I'm not really sure. So right now this move is like, even if you hit with it, the collision of that second part can still miss. So from even at closer ranges, you can hit with this move, and the second part may miss even though the first part hits. So I'm going to improve the collision of this the swiping launcher part. I'm going to improve the collision to ensure that it no longer misses when the first hit makes contact. Then I'm going to make this move obviously a 1-slot move. I'm going to change it from 2 to 1. And right now this move is pretty unsafe, like -18 from range. This is like sand trap, like minus, right, from its range. This is okay. -18, -19 from these ranges. This is, I find, like, maybe I would make it a little bit less. So maybe by 1 frame, so it's never really, in this frame it's like -19 or -18, so it always kind of stays like sand trap minus, although you can pretty much keep it the same, it's whatever. You can kind of play around with that. But maybe 1 or 2 frames safer, just to make it like, you know, -19, -18, even from its peak range. And right now, this move does not allow Raiden to confirm. So Raiden, if he does this, he cannot see that it's hit and then do a late amplify to get the launcher. So he pretty much has to commit to it. So what I would do was I would increase the special cancel window and hit advantage. So when it hits, you have a bigger window to amplify, a bigger window to special cancel, so you can do it a little later, and the hit advantage is greater so that when it hits, you can react and amplify late and still land the launcher. So this is what I would do. It would be kind of like a launcher that you're like throwing. Although it would be unsafe, I probably wouldn't tweak the negative frames. I guess I probably would keep it like it is right now. So let's say, just to be safe, we'll keep it the same negative frames, but you're not going to get a full combo from a range like this, right? This range right here, -18, characters are not going to be full comboing you. The majority of the cast is not doing a full combo from this range. So as long as you space it properly, you don't have to worry about a full combo. So we'll just keep it, yeah, we'll keep it the exact same negative frames. But the upside is when it hits, you know, now you can do this on reaction. You're not forced to do this on block and just kind of hope for the best. So that's a pretty good buff to it, I think. I think it makes the move have some purpose. I also would change the command so it no longer conflicts with Electric Fly. So it would have no restrictions. It wouldn't conflict with anything. Keep the same amount of negative frames. Make it 1 slot. Make it so you can now have a bigger window to confirm, block, or hit confirm the attack. And then finally, I would, let's go to here. I would take his, this attack here, his back forward, his, what's it called? His Super Bolt. I would take the Super Bolt and I would make 1 change to it. So like, I understand you don't hold the move. It just kind of like Raiden bounces off of you. He's unsafe. But look what happens when he charges it. All this and the opponent doesn't move. You bounce off him. This move should 100% cause some form of guard stun and be like maybe +2, something like that. Because if you do a full charge version of this, it needs to have, I would make it maybe like +2. So full charge Super Bolt will now cause a little bit of stagger, so you're not right next to it, and it'll be like +2, something like that. Because, I mean, how can he charge up all this and Raiden bounces backwards? So a fatal blow causes some ridiculous pushback where you guys are pushed back to Oz, but for some reason this move right here, Raiden has to bounce off them, and no, I don't. So I would make that like, you know, +2, and I would probably, I'm not really sure on the confliction with the Electric Fly. I may keep that. I'm not really sure how good, how much better this would be if he could do something like that. So that's something that they maybe want to look into. I wouldn't rule one way or the other, like, you know, yes, I would or wouldn't. So now that we have that, let's kind of recap, and I'll kind of go into a little more detail on, you know, why I feel the way I feel about some of this stuff. So again, just to sum this up, we have his moves in which, let's go to customize menu here. So the lightning strike would go here in place of Storm Cell. Storm Cell comes out of this menu, goes into the default to replace lightning strike, and has a command that conflicts with nothing with no restrictions. Quick charge then would go in place of his back 1-2 1+3 string, and quick charge would take that spot in the default loadout, and the back 1-2 1+3 string would be right here where quick charge is. So those things. And very quickly, to explain why I do this, this is to make Raiden's default loadout now allow him to excel in customs. So if you look at a character like Cetrion, as I said, you know, Raiden, for example, when you're doing like regular variations, the regular variation system, you don't see anything used but Thunder Wave. Even though you can customize, they don't. They stay with Thunder Wave. Why? Well, because if you want his staff slam, whatever it's called, the proper move is called the electric burst. Well, that in his Raiden variation, that has quick charge to make the low current and the electric burst pretty good. And this is okay because every character would be forced to the preset variation system. But when you open the game up to other characters, like take Cetrion, well, Cetrion is held back by the preset variation system. Cetrion says, well, I don't really need the geyser. But she's held back by being forced to equip it. If you go customize, she can say, you know what? I don't need geyser. I will take the teleport. Then instead of geyser, I will go earthquake. And I will go with deadly winds here. And so she's able to, I don't need, and I'll take. Raiden doesn't have that because he can't do any of that. He can't, for example, if you're going to go ahead and make this type of decisions with the way he is now, you can't say, oh, I'll take electric burst without quick charge. So this move right here is worthless without this. So to get this one move requires 2 slots. To get this move here, electric current, to be good, requires, again, 2 slots because you have to get the quick charge. So he's really not able to do that. He's like, well, I can't get that because I need this or I need that. He can't afford to do that. He can't afford to take Joe Push because not only is it terrible, not only does it replace a move, but it is also a 2-slot move. So he just has no room for that. He can't do any of that. So again, quick rundown. This goes to the default loadout. Lightning Strike goes here. This goes to the default loadout. Back 1-2, 1+3 goes here. This allows you to equip things like Electric Burst and the low current without needing another move. Teleport will move to a 1-slot move. Teleport away is 2 defensive bars. It's no longer able to be special canceled into off of other attacks. Super Bolt on full charge gets a little bit of guard stun that leaves Raiden at +2, but it does have a decent amount of pushback, so it's not like he's right next to you. Joe Push gets a 1 slot. Conflicts with nothing anymore. Keeps the same negative frames, but now gains more cancel advantage, more hit advantage, so he can hit or block confirm simultaneously. And I really think these are some pretty good changes for... Oh yeah, one more thing. So the electric burst, what I would do is I would also make it a little faster. So right now, I would make it slightly faster just to remove the option select off back 1-2 electric burst. So right now, let's say you equip electric burst and you have back 1-2 1+3. Well, the problem is because the window is so big because they changed the special cancel window of back 1-2, which I wouldn't change that back because otherwise you'd be jailed in the back 1-2 1+3 unblockable. But what happens here is, like I have it on random hidden playback here, you're able to do back 1-2, and no matter which option you pick, all they do is flawless block. And not only are you simultaneously flawless blocking and launching the staff slam, you're also going under this at the same time. So there's no mind game there at all. This is completely gone. Now, if you make, I would still keep somewhat of a gap there. So I would make it slightly faster, but keep a gap. So back 1-2 electric burst would still be flawless blockable, and you would still be able to go under back 1-2 1+3 if you had both of those equipped in my new overhaul setup here. But you have to make the read. So if you make the read of back 1-2 electric burst, you're able to flawless block and launch him. If you make the read of back 1-2 grab, you're able to duck under it and launch him. But you actually have to make the read. You can't do a one-size-fits-all and avoid them both simultaneously and kill them for both options. This is meant to be a mind game based on a read. Neither electric burst nor back 1-2 1+3. They're both selectable moves, so it costs resources to use them as far as move selections. Neither one of them kill you. You could actually get hit by 3 or 4 of those and go under one of them or flawless block one of them and make all that life back. So it's in your favor, that mind game. But The problem is it's not even a mind game. And those are all the changes I would do to Lord Raiden. This, I think, makes him an excellent character with freedom to customize, mix and match things here or there. He wouldn't be broken or too strong. And I think, this could be pretty good. But again, these are just my ideas. So, we'll see how that works out. And in case somebody says, why not add new moves? Tom, you've talked about adding new moves before. This comes from an article very early in MK11's life, if not maybe a month before it. This says adding more moves to more. This was done when they were interviewing like different designers and different people in the studio. Adding more moves to Mortal Kombat 11 post-launch would prove more difficult than adding a skin or piece of gear. It would require NetherRealm to motion capture and properly animate each move to make sure it fits in with the rest of that character's moveset. Of course, NetherRealm also has to consider the balance implications of that each move would have. So you drop in a new special or something like that, and then it's like, well, that special has to work with all specials, not just that character. It has to work now against all the other character stuff. So it's quite challenging. They can't just slap a move in the game, and just say, oh, mocap it and slap it in and ship it out. That can't work. It's quite difficult to do this, and it's something that's not really feasible at this point of the game, especially since it's probably multiple characters people would do this with. So it's not something that I think is feasible. However, from an article I read around the time, when they were talking about the preset variations, NetherRealm then plans to balance custom abilities when necessary with these specific variations in mind, which is the preset loadouts, and could also change the variations themselves. Depending on the feedback from the community, they can swap moves in and out, make certain moves take up 2 slots instead of 1 and more. So while they probably can't just say, all right, slap new moves in the game, they can say, let's take this move that was default and swap it into the customizable menu, and take this move that is in the customizable menu and swap it out with something and make it default. They can also take a move that's 2 slots, make it 1, etc. All these things, whether it be frame data changes, that kind of stuff, moving moves in and out of customs versus default loadout, these are all things possible within the game as is, without requiring new animation, mocap, all that kind of stuff. So I think that is probably feasible, whereas, adding a bunch of new stuff like that probably is not. And that's why I went this route with Raiden. But again, these are just my ideas. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm always happy to hear what you guys say. Sorry about that little microphone tap there. Also, I know I didn't do anything for Rolling Thunder. That move is just going to stay the way it is. It's just crap. I don't know what else you could do with it. It just, I wouldn't fight anything for that move if Raiden could get some changes like this. But again, let me know what you guys think. Just one man's ideas. I always love hearing from you. I appreciate the support so much. Thanks for watching all my videos, and stay tuned for more content.